Hey yo, hello, Svio. I feel like people are really critical about movies. I'm talking about the Borderlands movie. Yeah, I went to watch the Borderlands movie. No one went to see that apparently. Apparently, it's the worst movie ever created if you listen to people on the internet. And okay, so it was rated 0 on Rotten Tomatoes for a second. For a second, mind you, like the week it was coming out, it was rated a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes. It is now up to 10%. So exciting. But I was like, no way, it's a 0. And I think there's been other movies that like critically they're claimed a 0 before they came out, but they weren't that bad. And some things just end up becoming like cult classics, you know. Obviously, I don't want to say that like this is like the best movie on earth and it's gonna become a cult classic. Not the point, or not what I think really. But IMDb says it was a 4.3 out of 10, and then where's the Google ratings? It's telling me the budget, but not the box office. So I don't know if y'all know anything about freaking Borderlands. It's a video game. Obviously, video game movies. I feel like video game people are pretty intense and like most of the time misogynistic. So I don't know how far the scale of like legitimacy of criticism goes, because when the show for like The Last of Us was coming, there was so many like naysayers for a little bit, and then it was like getting hostile. But then like when The Last of Us 2 the game came out, people were like fighting tooth and nail about how much they hated it. And like I also don't like it, but not for reasons where people are like, oh my gosh, this woman's ugly and all this, and they should have made her like more feminine, and Ellie's ugly, and then they were like the castings for the show, a lot of things. I don't know. There's been a lot of movies made on games recently, which I think is so exciting. Because it's that thing where it's like it's not a new property, but it technically kind of is, because it's like a movie of a game, which is like a different form of medium. So it's like recreating it, but not really recreating or remastering it. It's not like bringing back old IPs in the sense that it's like, oh, let's make the movie It again, but with like modern CGI, which I think really did go beneficially for It. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about Borderlands. I don't think there's ever going to be another Borderlands movie, considering how bad this one went. There was a lot of like excitement for it in the beginning. Apparently the script was like really good, and that's kind of what got Cate Blanchett on board. And so I personally went to watch it because I'm a Cate Blanchett stan, and I love fun. And then also like the cover, the titles, like the title card with like everybody on it, the poster, the movie poster, blah. Was so fun. I love. So I'm like, it's been a while since like there's a good movie poster, because Marvel has kind of ruined movie posters in that sense, and like Disney kind of has too. So I was like, okay, the poster's fun, the poster's cute, and the way these characters look is like just fun and dynamic. So that's exciting. And I was also like, okay, well, Cate Blanchett's is in it, so I'm excited. Didn't remember that Jack Black was in it. I didn't realize that until like the credits when Claptrap was Jack Black. Surprise. Considering the time it is now, that is not great. Just because like people don't like Jack Black for certain things. If you know, I guess. I don't really want to get too into it. I'm assuming y'all know. But not really something I was too aware of or really bothered by, or like, again, I forgot that he was in it. I also forgot Kevin Hart was in it, apparently. Didn't realize that. I completely forgot about that. And who else was in it? Who was Jamie Lee Curtis. Not the best performance. And also, boo, Jamie Lee Curtis. Bad beliefs, bad woman. Like, I like how much she supports women and everything online when she does. I hate that she got that award for freaking Everything Everywhere All at Once. But, she was in it. Not why I was going to watch it, Necessary Evil. I don't know. I'm like, I wanted to watch a movie. I wanted to support a movie that I kind of thought was already going to do bad. I just like supporting film. I like watching films anyways. The movie had excitement. Apparently the script was like amazing before Eli Roth got a hold of it. The director, Eli Roth, apparently everyone is saying that this man ruined this movie. I don't know too much about this man, but I want to take that what people are saying as true. I personally didn't think the movie is that bad. I really kind of enjoyed it. Like when I was like 10 minutes in, I was like, okay, this is fun. Like this is fun. And I think that's part of the thing. I think a lot of people are very, again, with like the gaming culture, and like when it has a very direct source material that is also both like 3 times longer or more in longevity, and it's like something that you are more personally invested in, and that like you're physically contributing to the actions, thus you are getting more of a one-to-one enjoyment of like partaking in the media of it. I think that's a kind of a thing that obviously goes to the disservice of video game movies, because it's like, well, you can enjoy it and it's cool to have other people like enjoy it and like give it its grace and its credit, but it's also like, well, you enjoy this on like a more personal level because you played as that, you were that character, you partook in the story, you made the story continue. Kind of like not in the same vein as like reading a book, because this feels like a lot more physical and like more involved, and like you're like really doing it. But I thought it was fun. The cast, okay, again, oh my god, I personally really loved Cate Blanchett's performance. I loved her style. I liked her hair. I liked like just the tricks with the guns. Obviously, this is like, a bunch of like maybe like stunt doubles and like CGI. Still fun. The CGI also, like, it was great. The scenes, the settings were fun. The costumes for everyone are like diverse and fun. I know people were giving it crap because it didn't look like directly like the game, and that's fair. Obviously, like, there's people who are for every single movie that has come where the people are like, oh my gosh, this costume looks bad. Cosplayers do it better. Well, yes, every time, obviously every time, but I feel like there's like a layer of where like, people just don't think about how like this person has to physically move this and also be in it for like 8 hours or more, since like they set in since sitting in the chair and putting on the hair and makeup and the costume and then going to act and doing this physical activity and then having a replicated costume probably for like the stunt double and all these things. Like, there's a layer of like those things where it's like the suspension of disbelief has to go away from like the costume being as practical or as cool as it has to be. Obviously, it's a little different with like superhero movies because they're more like spandexy or something, so that has a little more mobility to them. But for this, they were like, oh my gosh, Tiny Tina doesn't look that great, and like cosplayers look better. Or like even for Kate Blanchett's Lilith, they were like, it looks better when a cosplayer does it. Obviously, like, there's a level of like, you have to come to give and take here. But again, like the settings and everything, the CGI also looked like, well, it looked good. The costumes were fun, the hair and the makeup, and it was all enjoyable. It was all very well done, personally, from what I could see. Mad Moxie, oh, looked so good. Oh my god. Gina Gershon, don't know that woman. Kate Blanchett, again, loved her performance, was amazing. But I just love her anyways. I don't think there's a world where she's gonna perform bad, and I guess that's where people were like, oh, she enjoyed the script before Eli Roth got to it. Again, I wish I could see the script or something. I think maybe someone posted it somewhere. I didn't really go into reading it. And then Ariana Greenblatt, I really loved her character. I'm surprised that she's coming up first on the cast list, but she was playing Tiny Tina. I loved her, and I know people were like, oh, she's like quirky but not like crazy and like not smart or cool or whatever. But I liked her character. I think I like the whimsy of just like this girl's just like kind of off her rocker, and you're just like, what's she gonna do? Kind of gonna double cross you, where she just being dumb and fun and all this stuff. I loved her dynamic with Kate Blanchett. It felt very maternal, very cool. With Lilith, my bad, Tiny Tina and Lilith's dynamic, I really enjoyed that. Bobby Lee, I kind of forgot he was there. I don't like seeing Bobby Lee in things. I don't like that man. Jamie Lee Curtis, again, boo. And I didn't like the voice she was doing for her character. Krieg, I'm so sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Florian Monto, no, I don't know that man. I don't know the point of his character that much, other than like being muscles and like hot. So let me tell you, I was watching. He was gorgeous. I did not see that man's face, but he was gorgeous. Oh my god, my Google thing closed. Hello, what the heck? My phone's going off the rocker. But yeah, no, I loved the movie. I think it was fun. I think people are obviously being too critical. Again, that also just gonna come with the medium. It's like from games to movies. But it was still not as bad as people were making it seem to be, because everyone was talking about it like it's the worst movie ever. And I'm gonna level with you, full disclosure, I'm just a moviegoer. I did not play the game. So I know I said that right now because I didn't want you to shut me out earlier, even though you probably right now at this point you've been like, what is this guy talking about? He doesn't even like seem like he even understands like the faults that this had compared to the game. And yeah, I didn't. I'm so sorry. I did not play the games. Apparently they were like really good and had like great couch co-op, and I should have played them. They seemed fun. I've just never been much of like a person who like is like the guns and violence kinds of games. But honestly, the movie itself makes me want to play it, which I think is also something to like say to its credit. Like for someone who didn't play him, just the enjoyment of like the characters and the dynamics, and like obviously the art style differs in the games, and I've seen that. Like I'm aware of the video game, like the video game culture, and I remember how they had to like change the cover from like the art that like used the blasters going through the head and like the whole the physical. I don't want to make the gestures, but they had to change the cover art, which I also think is like a fun story. I love when something is like evocative of things. Kevin Hart's character was cool. Again, people were saying that he wasn't really relevant in like the last third of the movie or after like the second half, which fair. I do really think that his character did get a little thrown under, but that's the fine. Claptrap was both annoying and charming. I think there's a weird level of like, who cares, where where people hate like, not like slapstick comedy or like a dumb comic relief character, but I didn't find it any more like overbearing or uncomfortable or annoying than like a Marvel does, that just happened. Because I watched Deadpool and Wolverine like a little bit ago, and I was like, the Deadpool and Wolverine, I was like, this isn't really funny anymore, and it's kind of being annoying. Like I get the whole like look at the camera and like talk to it like they're like the breaking the fourth wall, and then but there was like just a bunch of like overly doing the crass and overly doing the swear words, and I'm like, I get that this is a rated R movie, but like people just don't talk like this. Like people just don't talk like this. I'm sorry. There's like being crass and vulgar and like, I'm gonna put this so far up your so-and-so that like this is all gonna happen, and it's like, okay, sure, but I'm like, this is the 7th time you said that, so it's not like, oh my gosh, that's so grotesque and cool. So I think Claptrap was kind of fun. But again, I enjoy a sidekick that is charismatic. There was some times where I was like, okay, like you're being annoying, but I think that's also kind of the point. Like this robot is literally just programmed to help Lilith, and he's just physically has to perform this task, and he obviously has the sentience to not want to. But I think it was fun. Hammerlock 8. I don't even remember who that was. Atlas was, I think, a fun villain, not like a good villain. I really, again, with the CGI, I loved when he was like being represented by like the little collar that like projected his face over his like henchman. So cool. Like, come on, that like stuff like that. I was like, the world building in this. I feel like, obviously, again, I didn't play the games, but I feel like that just made me more excited about like the world they're in. And like when they were in like disguise and they had like the LED helmets that were like covering their face and they're like a mask. So cool. I loved it. I enjoyed the movie. I think it's fun. I think it was exciting. I think it wasn't like, I loved it. Again, it was camp. It was fun. The characters were dynamic. It was enjoyable. The story you could like follow. I don't know everything that was missing from the games. I don't know how far some of these things went, but obviously like there was so much community in it that was like these characters are interacting well. Her with like Mad Moxie, like Lilith and Mad Moxie, you were like curious about what was happening there, and like Mad Moxie's whole pavilion and how everyone acted there, and it was cool. I enjoyed it. It makes me want to play the game, and like my sibling and I were watching it, and we were like, dude, this movie rocks. I want to go come see it again. Because it was just fun. Like I think at the end of it, like just have fun. I don't know. Like I obviously again I want to say I'd be more critical if I was someone who played them, but I think it's also that's kind of the thing that happens with critics who gave like the Rotten Tomatoes reviews. Most of the time, the people who are critics of these are like going in blind, and then people are like, well, it's bad because it's not like the game. But then these people who don't play the game don't enjoy it because it's not like the game. But I didn't play the game, and I am not like a critic, obviously. But I thought it was fun. I thought it was a good movie. I don't think it was really that bad. I don't think it was enough to like hate it as much as people have been seeming to do online. It didn't do good, and it's not gonna do any better. And I don't think me talking about it is gonna make people love it. But that's fine, you know. Like I think it's still. I just want to talk about it. I think it's just a movie I want to talk about because I personally like loved it. Again, like 10 minutes in, I was like, I want to watch this again. And even at the end of the movie, I was like, I loved that. So I don't know what to tell you. I give it a shot. I mean, obviously, when it comes to streaming, I spent a bunch of money, not a bunch of money, it was like 2 tickets, and then also like buying the popcorn and the drinks, which again does put in a little bias. But if I can go to AMC and get like a little claptrap popcorn bucket, I'm gonna like. I enjoyed it. Like again, they really left an impression on me, and I enjoyed it. So I don't know. Maybe I suck, but you tell me. I enjoyed it.